Welcome to Scriptorium Echoes, where every echo tells a story. I'm your guide through hidden literary worlds. Let's dive in. Imagine a world where some of the greatest literary voices were silenced, forgotten by history, and buried under the names of their male counterparts. Today, we dive into the shadows of the literary canon to resurrect four women whose words once echoed, but whose legacies nearly vanished. Welcome to Scriptorium Echoes. This is The Forgotten Women of Literature. For centuries, literature has been dominated by male names: Shakespeare, Dante, Dickens. But hidden between the lines are women who wrote under censorship, social constraints, or simply were ignored. Women whose voices once resonated and whose works paved the way for entire generations of readers, even if we don't always realize it. Our first echo is from the 7th century BCE, Sappho, the legendary Greek poet of Lesbos. Only fragments of her poetry survive, yet her influence on lyric poetry is immeasurable. Sappho composed verses on love, desire, and longing, often addressed to female companions. In a male-dominated oral tradition, her songs circulated among lovers and rulers alike. But why do so few of her poems remain? Because papyrus decays, male scribes chose to copy other authors, and centuries of Christian erasure deemed her work too sensual. Yet we still read her fragments, like Louvre Papyrus 1234, revealing lines such as, "Someone will remember us, I say, even in another time." Sappho's words continue to resonate, inspiring poets from Catullus to Christina Rossetti. Though mostly lost, her fragments echo through the ages, reminding us of longing and artistry unbound. Jump ahead to medieval Europe. Christine de Pizan, born in Venice in 1364, spent her life at the court of King Charles V of France. Widowed at a young age, she took up the pen to support her family and became the first woman in Europe to earn a living exclusively from writing. Her key work, the Book of the City of Ladies of 1405, defends women's dignity against the misogynistic writings of her time. She imagines a city built by three allegorical figures where famous women, goddesses, queens, scholars, find refuge. In an era when most medieval manuscripts are copied by monks, Christine collaborated with illuminators to produce richly illustrated manuscripts. She laid the groundwork for literary feminism by declaring that women's voices deserve to be heard as loudly as men's. At the turn of the 20th century, the American literary scene ignited with the Harlem Renaissance. Zora Neale Hurston, born in 1891 in Alabama, stood out for her unique style, blending African American dialect and folkloric traditions. Her most famous novel, Their Eyes Were Watching God of 1937, follows Janie Crawford's quest for identity and love. Despite mixed reception at the time, Hurston built a bridge between oral tradition and modernism. After her death in 1960, she fell into obscurity until Alice Walker rediscovered her work in the 1970s. Today, Hurston is celebrated as one of the major voices of African American literature, inspiring Toni Morrison and others to embrace cultural diversity. Back in the United States at the end of the 19th and the start of the 20th century, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, a women's rights activist and committed writer. Her best-known short story, The Yellow Wallpaper, of 1892, depicts a woman's slow descent into madness while confined by medicinal rest and isolation. In the semi-autobiographical text, Gilman protests the treatments imposed on women: forced rest and forced solitude. The yellow wallpaper becomes a metaphor for a patriarchy that traps creativity and the mind. The impact of the yellow wallpaper is lasting. It helps spark feminist literary criticism and open the conversation about women's mental health. These four women, Sappho, Christine de Pizan, Zora Neale Hurston, and Charlotte Perkins Gilman, each fought the constraints of their time to make their voices heard. Their stories remind us that literature is not just ink on paper. It is rebellion, identity, and hope. If you enjoyed this journey through forgotten pages, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Scriptorium Echoes, and ring the bell to never miss an echo. Let us know in the comments which forgotten writer you'd like us to resurrect next. Every echo tells a story. Listen closely.